Hello, I'm Dustin Trimbath. I'm 18 years old, I live in Berthoud, Colorado, and go to Berthoud High School. I'm a senior, and I'm here to talk about what changes public education needs to go for in order to better our society. Now, to talk about these things, I like to focus on the things that public education does well. Any organization, governments, political parties, religious organizations, nonprofit organizations, all have their faults, but they learn to become better through what they do well, which is what I'm going to talk about today. Now, my favorite high school experiences are things like AP Literature courses, AP US History, AP Language and Composition, and Argumentation and Debate. Just a few of what I consider to be the best courses that I've taken in high school. Now, I'm going to take you through the who, what, and why of my high school experience. Now, those are the what category, what interested me. But how did I enjoy them? Through clever techniques that allowed me to kind of self-discover, to stumble upon the information rather than the teacher dictating knowledge to me. Also, what the teachers did is use medias I was familiar with, such as flip cams or trying to make a commercial or try to convince a group of teens that an Ayn Rand novel is superior to that of Twilight. Something that kids are familiar with and able to see in more of an educational light. Also, teachers who focused on learning rather than information, that they taught ways to teach ourselves rather than saying, here's a packet of rhetoric terms and I want you to memorize them by next Monday. They taught us how we could study methods, learning algorithms, or learning possibilities in order to teach ourselves how to do it. And finally, why I enjoyed them. I've gone through the what and I've gone through the how. Why I enjoyed these was because I was self-interested, intrinsic motivation, something that Daniel Pink calls flow. It's a type of intellectual stimulus where I'm dedicated and happy and enlightened and learning all at the same time. It's in his book, Drive, which is a highly recommended read. Also, I was with a group of familiar peers who thought as I did. Either they were visual or audible learners, and they liked to get their hands in deep into the soil of what we were learning. If it was AP US History, they would like to talk about theoretical situations with me, as in, like, what if the Zimmerman telegram never happened, other type of stimulating discussions that I can have with people who are like me. So, finally, what I'm trying to say is that in all of this, just as music, religion, have all kind of turned to their roots for guidance, so should education. Education, by Merriam-Webster's dictionary, is defined as development of mental, moral, or aesthetically. And I think that currently education does a fine job of developing us mentally, but I really think that you can go so much more beyond fine and achieve a type of superiority among other countries such as China or India. When we have a country that's nearly half the population of our competition, we should be able to do fantastically better. But it's because we stick to old traditions such as putting our kids according to age rather than according to, let's say, learning advantages such as visual learners or textual learners or audible learners, and not really focusing on the individualness of each student. I think that allowing them to become more creative or more self-driven is something that we're able to do with such a smaller population, but I think is majorly overlooked in our society. I think in order for us to become, let's say, worthy competition of our fellow nations, we need to take advantage of what we do well. We are more personable, we are more accustomed to modern technology. I think we should use those things to our advantage. I think social medias are going to be huge in the future, which is something that kids are good at, but aren't given a huge opportunity in our schools really to work with. What we need is to teach that intrinsic motivation trumps carrots and sticks every time. Telling kids that you're going to get an A if you do this well, or get an F if you do it poorly. I think we need to tell them that this is what's going to lead to a better future, and whether or not you want a better future is your choice, but I'm giving you the opportunity to to accomplish that. And any kid will listen to this teacher and listen to how they explain certain learning techniques, etc., etc. And also, kids need a good work ethic. We have corridors filled in China full of 150 students listening to a teacher dictate a lesson. We should take advantage of our smaller classroom settings and say, and instill a value and develop them mentally, and I would consider this aspect morally, to have a better work ethic. I think a lot of what the United States is going through is this kind of, we're becoming accustomed to being the best, but we've become the best through hard work. So I think the dedication, the trying to work towards something, work towards a goal, that's something that we really need to be able to do for our kids. What it all comes down to is self-motivation. If our kids don't want to learn science, they're not going to learn science. They may pass the class, but whether or not they learn the information is highly improbable if they don't care about the subject. Either we need to teach our kids to care more about subjects that they, as of now, don't care about, or I think it will be easier to teach them how to differentiate between what they do want to learn and what they don't want to learn, and be able to follow that path, be able to choose a path of their own choice, and be able to work hard at that in order to achieve a career, a college degree, a high school diploma, things that will lead them to what they want. Thank you very much for listening.